Here's everything you should know about shopping for Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Japan. We just got back from our trip and it was the craziest experience of my life. We were only there a week, but we managed to maximize our time, always finding ourselves in a different city and different environment. It was crazy, and I'd love to talk more about that, but you guys are here for the Yu-Gi-Oh. Like most of you guys, I've wanted to shop for Yu-Gi-Oh cards in Japan since I was a little kid, and 2.5 decades later, that magic is still very much there. I was pleasantly surprised by how many stores had Yu-Gi-Oh product in it, even when I was going in not expecting to find any. But there's definitely a learning curve when it comes to shopping there. There's sensory overload everywhere you look in Japan. Small stores are filled to the brim, packed with people, and oftentimes on several floors. I found myself more often than not walking up small staircases and skyscrapers, thinking maybe I was going the right way until I found a Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon sign, and then I knew I was in the right place. And honestly, I would say that that's a huge part of the fun. It really feels like you're hunting and on an adventure. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard from collectors that prices throughout Tokyo are insanely overpriced and it's not worth your time. And though there is some truth to that, I would argue it really depends on why you're there. As a collector who strictly loves the property, the energy in Tokyo is like no other, and it was a total blast. But if you're going over there to potentially resell and or just maximize your profit, it might not be the place for you. But the reality of it is that most things are still cheaper there, even though it might not be the same as it was like 10 years ago. You have to understand, because of the popularity influx in America and throughout Europe, Japanese stores have taken notice and readjusted. They are proud of their inventory there. It's basically their collection. So you will find yourself seeing some of the most incredible Yu-Gi-Oh things that you've ever laid your eyes on. Take a store like Fuku. The fact that I got to see my favorite Blue Eyes print ever, the ultra rare Asian English, as well as the Jump Festa in person for the first time in my life, was completely insane. So don't let Google reviews fool you. They're probably written by people who aren't there for the same reason you are. And speaking of Fuku, I would be amiss if I didn't mention their 4th floor, a strictly Yu-Gi-Oh Egyptian themed store. Literally the greatest place I've ever been in my entire life. When I went, it was fortunately very quiet and I got to just admire all of their wallpaper and hieroglyphics on the wall. It was insane. And on the affordability side, their bundle bin was absolutely insane, and that's where I feel like a lot of these Japanese stores thrive. Smaller cards that you may find on eBay for 20-30 bucks, I found in most of these stores being like $5, or in some cases even less, which was just completely mind-boggling. I will say, on the more disappointing side of things though, if you're looking to buy a classic famous card like Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Exodia, I would recommend holding off. This is where the upcharging does show its face. A lot of those cards you could get way cheaper on even things like eBay, which is honestly really crazy to think about. I guess it really shows how much of an impact the collector market has had on this entire game. But who knows, you could argue that just being able to say that you bought a card like that in Tokyo holds a premium in and of itself. I ended up buying a base set Charizard at one of these stores for about what I would have paid online, but it's just cool to say that it came from Japan. But I don't want you to think that all hope is lost. You may still end up hitting the Yu-Gi-Oh lottery. I did. This is a 20th anniversary alternate ultimate, and I ended up getting it for about 115 bucks. And on eBay, it goes for a lot more. I guess the conclusion is keep your expectations grounded, and I promise you won't be disappointed.